So Dislyte is having a massive new update that I can't wait to tell you guys about in this video. We have a bunch of new content to check out, from a spear-wielding waifu, together with her sister, who uses a bunch of savage-looking sabers. We also have Markiplier.
Was that the bite of 87?
Plus an actual VTuber that is not only in the game, but she's actually a real-life VTuber IRL in real life. Was that real enough? Okay, good. She even has a full-blown YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter account that you should definitely follow because she probably streams during her free time. At least that's what her bio says. But before we move on, a special thanks to Dislyte for sponsoring today's video. Dislyte is a turn-based mobile RPG with tons of personality, mixing elements of different mythologies with an upbeat anime aesthetic. They have a bunch of awesome characters with great synergy and beautiful designs, and with the in-game music being nothing less than top tier, it's no wonder that they won the Best Multiplayer Game Award from last year. So what are you waiting for? Make sure you check out Dislyte today using the link in the description below. A big shout out to Dislyte for supporting my channel. Now back to the video. So if you're watching this video, you probably like VTubers. Yeah, I don't normally make videos about them, but if you like playing games with anime waifus, you also probably like to watch anime. And if you like these two, then there's a pretty high chance that you also like VTubers, right? Regardless, you might be wondering what the VTuber is doing in Dislyte. Is this some sort of collab? Well, not exactly. Camille is an esper that has been transported to the real world outside of the game, where she now poses as a VTuber. Camille doesn't only look good as an animated beast girl, but she is also good at taking out her opponents in the game.
Being animated makes you more capable of assassination.
One of the recurring things that you will hear me talk about in this video is the character designs. Each of the characters in Dislyte have their own unique style, and you can really tell how they put a lot of thought into how the characters look. Camille is based on Hati from the Norse mythology, who is basically a wolf chasing the moon across the night sky. And these two characters actually have some interesting similarities. Hati is a wolf that is more active at nighttime, and Camille just so happens to work at a place called Evening Sounds. And more importantly, just like the wolf from the Norse mythology, Camille is also a Hati. If you want to check out Camille outside of the game, I'll be leaving links to her different social media pages in the description below, so you can keep in touch with her upcoming content. Moving on, let's talk about the next character, Leora. And to sprinkle in a bit of lore, Leora possesses the divinity of Athena and is the executive officer of the Dawn Alliance. She is serious and meticulous, known as the disciplinary committee of the Alliance. Despite her stern personality, Leora is conflicted when it comes to her sister Elaine. If Elaine were to stray from the right path, Leora would spare no effort to help her find her way again. So basically, she's your classic anime onesan who just wants to look out for her little sister. The only difference is that she basically has the powers of a Greek goddess, and your anime big sister probably doesn't have a sick looking spear like the one that she has. And speaking of, let's take a closer look at her design because as always, Dislyte never misses when it comes to creating beautiful characters like this one. As I mentioned before, Leora has this very sick looking spear that is accentuated by the glowing effect on its blade. They also added a bunch of pieces that symbolize Athena, like her helmet, spear, armor, and the snakes that pop up whenever she uses her ability. Leora is also rocking that very ancient style helmet with a matching cape, but they actually give it a modernized touch, so it still has that Greek warrior vibe, but it definitely feels a lot like the other character designs where it's a bit more modernized. And to top it all off, she is also wearing a white and blue fitted suit to contrast the darker colors on the rest of her design. I'm definitely a big fan of how she looks, and I think that they did a great job at designing this character. Aside from her actual design, it's only right that we take a look at her kit. I will only be giving you a simplified version or explanation for her skills because some of her abilities can be a bit overwhelming, especially for newer players. So I will basically just break it down into bite-sized information so that it's easier for you to follow along. Her skill 1 is Forward Strike. It will let Leora deal a bit of damage and also applies here with a bit of damage reduction on the enemy. On top of that, it will also reset all of her ability cooldowns at the start of combat, which means that Leora will always have her abilities ready to go for each wave during the stage. Next, we have Dawn Guardian, which is one of Leora's more complicated skills, because there's a lot of skill conditions and a bunch of different multipliers which might not be the easiest thing to understand, especially as a beginner. But essentially, her second skill will always have the damage amplification from the War Goddess buff, and she also gets an additional final damage multiplier depending on how many of her allies are still left on the field. So she can get up to 40% if all 4 of her allies are still alive. Moving on, we have her next ability, Daylight Beam. So the same thing as her previous ability, this will also apply the War Goddess buff before casting. Additionally, it will increase your damage against the enemy because of the critical debuff, and this will also let Leora deal both a single target and multi-target instance of attacks. So all in all, she is looking to be a really good DPS character, and I can see her being especially good against Chronos. Another good thing I want to mention is that you don't necessarily need to go for Leora's resonances. Her kit pretty much works really well right off the bat because of how her skills work with her War Goddess buff. Before we do a little showcase with her in combat, let's first go over the next free character, and it's none other than Elaine. Not to give give out any spoilers or anything, but they recently put out a teaser for an upcoming short called Dusk and Dawn, where you can see Elaine and Leora meeting each other for the first time in several years. So I would definitely recommend that you tune into the official Dislyte YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on this amazing animation. Moving on to Elaine's skill. She is basically a fighter that applies sleep on her enemies every time she uses her ability. She messes around with different status effects on both your enemies and your team, and you will see how it works as we go over her abilities. Her skill 1, Night Raid, applies a sleep effect and she deals extra damage when she is in stealth mode. This also lets her attack the enemies without interrupting them, as well as ignoring 25% of the enemy's defense when they have the sleep effect. So this is overall really good. It has good effects, and being able to ignore a huge part of the enemy's defense is a plus. Her skill 2, Oblivion Strike, is really good against specific enemies because she can steal the buffs on her target, which is very useful against Fafnir. For her next ability, we have Endless Night. This one has a Night Goddess effect, which will basically transfer one debuff from each of your allies and apply it on your target. On top of that, the enemy's miss rate will also increase. Elaine definitely has a lot of things going for her, and ability-wise, comparing Leora to Elaine, I'm leaning more towards Elaine because she is able to apply a ton of status effects, even steal buffs from the enemies, and also transfer your team's negative status effects onto the enemy. Plus, I think that Elaine's resonances are way better than Leora's, because for Leora, she basically works like a complete character without resonances, so you can pretty much skip on that. But for Elaine, she also feels like a complete character at R0, but she gains significantly more power from having more resonances. Next up, let's take a look at these characters in action. I like to start off the fight with their third skill because it simply does a ton of damage, and most of the characters in my team have insane AoE, so they will be putting out big numbers with just one skill. And when it comes to how I build my teams, it really depends on the content that I'm doing, because some teams will work better in different types of bosses, and some teams will generally work with no problem. But as a rule of thumb, I try to keep my team within a certain composition. I basically go for 3 fighters or 3 DPS, which is a good amount of units to deal more than enough damage. And the rest of my characters will preferably be supports that provide healing so that my DPS will have better survivability. After playing with these new characters for a bit, I figured that I should get more copies of Elaine because she has some pretty good bonuses from her resonance. So I'll probably switch to the future me to do some pulls on the new character banners. And as you can see, we currently have 304 golden records, which is basically the tickets that you use for the gacha in this game. And if I end up using all of my golden records, I will probably have to use my gems, so hopefully all of that will be enough to get an R6 Elaine. So without further ado, let's do the first pull.
Oh shit, here we go again.
And here we go. Oh, it's immediately a spark. Nice. Which ones do we get? Oh, we got one, which is okay. We want Elaine. Elaine? Oh no. Is it?
What the dog doing? What the dog?
We got Brewster, bruh. One more spark back to back. Aw, not this time. We only got one purple. There we go. Another spark. Hopefully it's Elaine. That's 1. 2! We got 2! Did I get 2 5-stars or are my eyes messing with me? So this is 1. I could have sworn we got 2. My eyes were probably just messing with me. Another 1. Back to back. Wow. If worst comes to worst, we're gonna have to use the wish stones. We need a total of 600, which means that we probably need to get a few copies from the banner at least. Surely this one gives me... Wait, what? Oh my god. Right, if we have to go through my golden records and gems, I don't think I'm getting R6, not unless there's a freaking miracle that happens. I'm just skipping all of this because I don't really care about the 4 stars, especially the 3 stars, because I only use a handful of 4 stars and most of the characters that I like to use are 5 stars anyways. Surely we get R6. Come on, Elaine, please. Elaine, I can feel it. Surely. Oh my god. I mean, she looks really nice, so I might end up using her. Surely this one will give me a lane. Surely. I meant the next one. Oh, we got one early. We got 2? Surely that's 2, right? I've been wrong 2 times. Thinking that they gave me 2, but they only gave me 1. But surely this time they gave me 2. Whoa! Yo, I use her. That's actually okay. Yeah. I want more copies of her. Yeah. Oh no, we did get 2, but it's not the right one. We got Sally, someone I actually used, so that's nice. It's also a good thing that Elaine is the free character out of the 2. Because even though Leora deals a ton of damage, I feel like Elaine has more application, especially in bosses, because she can get rid of negative status effects from your team, and she can also steal the buffs from your enemy, so that's really good. So when the new update comes out, make sure that you do the events because she is a free character and she's really strong. So yeah, that is pretty much everything I have for this video. This new update for Dislyte is pretty big, and I intentionally left out some stuff because I think it's way better for you to experience it yourself. Once again, a big thank you to Dislyte for supporting my channel, so don't forget to check out this game using the link in the description below. As always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.